What's going on, guys? This is Kaishiro. Welcome back. So for our video today, we're going to cover top 5 meta decks of August 2023 OCG format. So these are the best decks that you can pilot on this August meta game on OCG. And this is also after Agov or post Agov Age of Overlord. So this is how the Agov impacted the current OCG meta game on this format. So let's get started. At number 5, we have Bangfishol. So, Bangfishol is a very good deck since they're released from Wild Survivors. Back then, I think Bangfishol became an instant success and a threat to the meta game since their introduction to the OCG format. And I really think that this is a very good deck just for the fact that it can always play around Maxi. You can just play conservatively most of the time if you are being struck with Maxi. You can just summon the Rock of Vanquisher and pass your turn. So you are very good on playing against Maxi. And if you're a deck that can play around Maxi very well on the OCG format, especially Maxi is the most game warping card on the OCG metagame and Yu-Gi-Oh history as well. So you are having a huge plus or huge advantage on playing those decks. It is also the reason why Fluanderis and even Dragon Maid saw some light and success on the previous formats because they can always play around Maxi very well and they are good at playing around Maxi. That's why I think that's the biggest contribution or factor on why Vanquishol is a good deck right now in the format. And on top of that, it is quite hard to side deck against Vanquishol. Other cards like Ghost Bell and DD Crow and Veiler and Imperm, those cards that are very popular right now in the format, those hand traps, does little to nothing on Vanquishol. So you have leeway to move freely and play freely on the format without being targeted on your back. So that's the huge advantage for me on playing Vanquishol right now on the format. And also, the deck is very technical. You need to think a lot on playing this deck. You need to be mechanically good. You need to be technically sound on playing this deck. So, if you are a beginner or a newbie or a returnee, I don't recommend playing Vanquishol, to be honest. But if you are a veteran player, you are experienced, you are skilled, I think Vanquishol is the perfect deck for you on the format. And also, Vanquishol will not be targeted by the ban list. I think there's no targets on Vanquishol right now because it is a pretty fair deck at some extent. So yeah, you are really good on avoiding the ban list this OCG format. So I think cards like Evenly Match can hurt Vanquishol. So there's only a few cards that can hurt the Vanquishol like Evenly Match and Raigeki because Vanquishol doesn't have Omni Negate on their presence right now. So they are really prone to board breakers like Raigeki and Evenly Match and sometimes Lightning Storm. And also the good thing on Vanquishol is it can play, there can be only one. There can be only one is very massive on the current format. It can stop purely, it can stop Rescue Ace. So yeah, I think there can be only one is a massive card to play on Vanquishol. So yeah, at number 5 we have Vanquishol. Moving on towards the number 4, we have Labyrinth. So many people thought Labyrinth will be the best deck since the release of Arias because on paper, Arias is a very strong addition to the Labyrinth strategy. Many players, including me, thought that Labyrinth will be the best deck after the release of Arias. So I don't think that it translated that well because many players are still on diddle daddle. They are skeptical on playing Arias or without Arias on the Labyrinth deck list. Many players tried the furniture, the standard furniture with hand traps, and some players also try the Arias trap version of Labyrinth. But I think the first one is the most popular. Many players are still avoiding playing Arias right now. But nonetheless, Labyrinth has a very good toolbox that can utilize their furniture cards. They can always play many hand traps on the deck to answer the meta game. They can also play powerful trap cards like Dimensional Barrier that can instantly skip the turn of many meta relevant decks right now in the format like Branded that is linear on Fusion, Purely that is linear on XYZ summoning. So you can guarantee that you have a very good control deck right now on the form of the Labyrinth, and I think this is the best trap deck and best control deck right now in the format. So if you're looking for a control deck to play on this meta game, you must not look for any further because Labyrinth is the best for you. And also, the recent trend on playing Labyrinth are playing Unchained extra deck monsters because you get so much value from playing the extra deck Unchained monster lineup. It synergizes very well to the Fiend archetype and typings of Labyrinth on your disposal. So yeah, I think playing Unchained extra deck is the best extra deck right now for the Labyrinth. And also, Labyrinth is very good deck that can play around Nibiru that is quite popular right now in the format. Many players are siding and even main decking Nibiru right now. So you are very good deck that can play around Nibiru on that regard because you don't special summon that much on Labyrinth. But cards like Ghost Bell will really hurt you because you do interact a lot on graveyard shenanigans. So Ghost Bell can really hit the deck very hard. And also, you rely on trap cards most of the time. So you are very prone to red reboot. One red reboot will instantly end the turn of most Labyrinths on this meta game. So yeah, but nonetheless, I think this is a very strong deck. If you are looking for a deck that can improve your winning success, you must look no further because Labyrinth will be a very good deck for you. So at number 4, we have Labyrinth. Moving towards our number 3, we have the Tearlaments. So Tearlaments has been on an experimental phase right now in the format. Many players are experimenting engines on the Tearlaments. Like they're playing Adventurer on Tearlaments. They are playing the Horus engine on Tearlaments. They are playing Sinful Spoils on Tearlaments. And they're still also playing Scareclaw engine towards the Tearlaments. So it is really up in the air on what the Tearlaments version is the best right now on the format. They are mixing and matching these engines towards this Tearlaments archetype. Right now, the most popular one are the Sinful Spoils Tearlaments with Scareclaw right now with the Samsara package and those the Witch, Diabel Star Witch. So yeah, I think that's the best version of Tearlaments right now in the format. But some do play the old version of Tearlaments with just the Ishizu cards and the Revo Synchro Dragon. So yeah, I think it's really hard to tell what is the best version of Tearlaments right now in the format. But if you do analyze and recognize and solve it by yourself, you will be rewarded very well because Tearlaments has been proven for a very long time. This is one of the best decks that is ever printed on the Yu-Gi-Oh history. So yeah, I think if you do manage to correct the deck build of these Tearlaments with their engines, I think you will be very on a good position right now in the format. And I think many good players will innovate and deck build immensely on building the Tearlaments deck list right now on this current meta game. So yeah, I think that's the what do you call that, provisional part on Tearlaments right now. It is unsolved, but it will only get better if players will create the proper decklist for Tearlaments. And then cards like the Forbidden Droplet will definitely hurt Tearlaments because you end up on negation monsters and interruption monsters like Rule Kalos, Naturia Beast, Hot Red Archfiend, Abyss Dragon. So you rely on negations now. That's why I think Forbidden Droplet will be a very bad card to deal against Tearlaments. And also DD Crow is very popular. So you need to resolve your Tearlaments fusion enablers on your graveyard like Merly and Havnis and Sharon. That's why DD Crow can cancel out those effects. But I think Tearlaments is a solid number 3 best deck right now in the format on my books because you need so much innovations on Tearlaments. And Tearlaments can only get better moving forward. So at number 3, we have Tearlaments. Moving towards the number 2, we have Purely. So Purely has been a very decorated deck recently. It won the Japan Championship 2023 tournament. It also won the Duels Cup main event tournament. So this is a very good and tested deck on big tournaments. So you can guarantee that you are playing a good deck if great players and winners trusted this deck. So yeah, I think that's the good part on playing purely. It is a very tested deck. Even though the deck has a lot of flaws like imperm and droll and post side deck, you have problems like Herald of the Abyss. I think the positives and upsides of the deck outweighs the negative factors like the hard matchups against hand traps and side deck cards like Herald of the Abyss. It outweighs the problems because Expurlinor is very insane. The moment you summon Expurlinor is an instant win button most of the time because it is unaffected, it can interrupt a lot of times, and it is also very consistent. You have a lot of starters on the deck. So yeah, I think this is a pretty consistent deck and can summon out more as early as possible. So yeah, I think this is a good inclusion on purely right now to be able to summon out the best monster right now in the OCG format, I guess, the Expurlinor. So yeah, at number 2 we have purely. Moving towards the best deck right now in the format, we have Rescue Ace. So Rescue Ace also on experimental phase because many players are playing synchro package right now on the Rescue Ace, and some players are still playing the Proxy F Magician into Fusion Mad Dragon. So players are still undecided whether they go into the synchro route or into the Link and Mad Dragon play. So yeah, I think many players will still solve the Rescue Ace, and also Rescue Ace got better by playing the Sinful Spoils package on Rescue Ace. It made the deck very consistent. You know, have a lot of starters on the form of the Sinful Spoils. You can summon out Hydrant and add the Airlifter, and then you can start your plays from Airlifter. So it is very likely that is Rescue Ace is the most consistent out of all the decks right now in the format. So that's the edge for me on Rescue Ace. I think they are the most consistent of the all decks here on this meta game. That's why I regard Rescue Ace as the best deck of the format due to their consistency. Because when you play into longer tournaments or big events, you must prioritize the consistency over anything else, because consistency is the key to victory for me on most occasions. So yeah, even though Rescue Ace got better with Sinful Spells package, I do think that Rescue Ace has still problems like Harpy's Feather Duster. If they don't play the Synchro package, they will get easily wiped by Harpy's Feather Duster, and also hand traps like Ash Blossom is very detrimental against Rescue Ace. One Ash on your emergency can end your turn on the Rescue Ace, and also Veiler is very strong on Rescue Ace because you need to resolve the Turbulence all of the time. That's why I prefer the Proxy F and Mad Dragon play on Rescue Ace, because I prioritize resolving Turbulence than making a board, to be honest, because resolving Turbulence is the most important for me. That's why you need to dodge Veiler and Imperms with the Mad Dragon. And also, Artifact Lansaya has been very relevant right now in the format. Lansaya is the most used side deck card on dealing against Rescue Ace because Turbulence needs to banish to be able to resolve its effect. That's why Lansaya is very effective against Rescue Ace. But nonetheless, I think this is still the best deck on the format, especially the inclusion of the Sinful Spoils on Rescue Ace. So yeah, I think this is the best deck right now in the format. At number 1, we have Rescue Ace. So short recap, at number 5, we have Bangfishol. At number 4, we have Labyrinth. At number 3, we have Elements with Sinful Spoils and other engines. At number 2, we have Purely. And at number 1, we have Rescue Ace with Sinful Spoils. So these are the top 5 best decks right now for me on August 2023 on OCG format. So thank you for watching this video. Hit the subscribe button if you're not yet subscribed on my YouTube channel. Hit the like button if you like this kind of content. And hit the notification bell if you want to get more updated on my following contents. So thank you for watching. See you on the next one. Peace.